I've taken a lot of heat from my position on Nate Parker and his film, The Birth of a Nation. Now, I've had a lot of people come to my channel after viewing my videos deconstructing Nate Parker, deconstructing Nat Turner, and deconstructing his film, The Birth of a Nation, trying to call me a coon, an Uncle Tom, a super coon, and some people saying I was betraying my own race. However, I can stand by my position because I have not only the evidence to back up my position, but I also have the background in this media. And as a guy who has studied the entertainment industry for over 25 years, I can pretty much I understand the business of entertainment. I understand the business of film. And I've studied the Hollywood box office long enough to know that when it comes down to these positive African American films, there is a track record of the Afro American Negro not showing up for these type of films, even though in many cases your Afro American Negro will sit there and say, I want to see more positive images of African Americans. Now, over the past decade, we've had positive black films coming out. We've had movies like Your Great Debaters. We've had movies like Pride, Black Dynamite, I Will Follow, and many other films like After Earth. Films the Afro American Negro pretty much lobbied and campaigned and said, I want to go see these type of films. However, after people go out here and put themselves on the line like your Nate Parker did, your Denzel Washington has done, your Ava DuVernay, and many others, they will go out here and try to raise money to make these films, and they'll go out here and spend money to get these films made, and then lobby even harder to try to get these films shown at film festivals like Sundance. And then after they go there and they have a great showing, you'll have the studio executives who look at this film and go, oh, that's a great film. They'll spend money to pay for this film, and then these executives will spend money to advertise these films. And then what do they get as the end result of doing business with the Afro American Negro? What do they get? They get a box office failure, a sixth place opening or an eighth place opening at the lowest level, because this is what many have to deal with when you deal with this Afro American Negro. Because this Afro American Negro, as I've said before, talks the talk, but he never walks the walk. When it comes down to your positive black films like Your Birth of a Nation and many others that I have just mentioned, your Afro American Negro pretty much causes these executives to have a loss. And what they do not understand, again, is that Hollywood is a business, and people are in business to make money. They don't have time to deal with Afro American Negroes, such as your Hoteps and your pro-blacks, and many of these other Afro American Negroes who want to go out here and march and protest and talk about the black image is being degraded. Yet, when it's time to spend money, we don't see any of these individuals. They're keyboard warriors on cyberspace, and they're all over YouTube making videos about how the black image is being degraded. However, when it's time to take the money out of their pocket and go out and spend it, you don't see these Afro American Negroes at all. So, this is why a lot of people just don't take the Afro American Negro seriously in the film business. This is why they have the notion that if we make black films, we are going to lose money, because they look at the track record of movies like Great Debaters, I Will Follow, Dope, Birth of a Nation, Pride, and they see the pattern of the Afro American Negro spending dollar. He says he wants positive black films. He says he wants balanced black films. But where is he spending his money? What are the number one movies at the box office? The movies featuring stereotypes regarding the Afro American Negro. I mean, let's look at the recent Boo a Madea Halloween. This movie was number one at the box office for 2 weeks in a row. This film has made $52 million. It's almost similar to the success that the Idris Elba film featuring a black brute No Good Deed had back a couple of years ago. This film was also number one at the box office and went on to make 50 some $1 million. But the Afro American Negro is sitting there trying to tell you that there's a market for positive black films. But again, we follow the flow of the dollars. And because Hollywood is a business, people are going to follow the flow of the dollars. And they're going to produce product that sadly meets the flow of the dollars. Once they see Boo, a Medea Halloween, making $50 million, do you think any Hollywood executive is going to spend another 17 or $18 million on a film like Birth of a Nation? Definitely not. And the reason why they're not going to spend any more money on films like this is because they're following the flow of the dollars. This is a business. Again, this is something the Afro American Negro don't understand. That film is a business. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. And people just don't have money to waste spending it on Afro American Negroes who have more crap coming out of their mouth than out of their backside about what type of image they're wanting to see. They're following the dollars because that's just common sense. And this is what the Afro American Negro doesn't understand. They're not guys like me who really love black people. They understand this is a business. They have to make money if they want to stay in business. Now, from my own personal experience in dealing with this Afro American Negro and knowing how full of crap they are regarding positive images, I know for a fact from my own personal experience, these same people calling me a super coon and Uncle Tom don't understand. I'm the guy who went out here and was out here publishing positive stories about African Americans for the past decade or so and has been writing them for almost over 20 years. And what do you get for that? You get pretty much put on permanent ignore on places like the Harlem Book Fair when I would go out here to try to sell books to this Afro American Negro featuring positive images and positive stories. And even to this day, even when they would complain about things like book covers, and I would go out and put new book covers on books that I was releasing, you then get these strawman arguments from this same group of Afro American Negroes because they're saying things like, oh, the cover people on the image are too light skinned, or this is not what I want. And people eventually, like myself, they look at that and it makes them want to shake their head because you're trying to present them with a positive image of self. However, the Afro American Negro, they just, all they want to do is resist you because when it comes down to it, we're looking at the flow of the dollars, we're looking at the way they spend money, and it always seems like they're going towards the stereotypes. Because this is what I saw at the Harlem Book Fair when I went there in 2009 and 2010. Now, I was presenting the positive black fiction, and then all I saw were Negroes running to the street lit, running to the ghetto stories. And again, if you follow the flow of the dollars, again, you see the picture regarding how the Afro American Negro sees himself, how he sees himself reflected in media, and what they identify with. And it seems like they identify with the whole concept of breathing new life in the stereotypes. But these same people will come here and say, I'm a coon for talking about Nate Parker and The Birth of a Nation, a film most of these Afro American Negroes didn't even spend a dime to go see because, again, they had the opportunity to go out here and go spend money to go see this film. No, they went out to go see a Medea Halloween. And then they want to go and say that it was the black feminists' fault when, again, these black men have all this money to go out to this Arab store or this Korean store and go buy these Air Jordan tennis shoes, and they could have taken that same part of that same money that they get for these Air Jordan tennis shoes to go support this movie. These same people who say that they are so wanting to be conscious and self-aware and love black people, again, they have that money for those sneakers, but they didn't have money for this movie. And then they want to sit there and, again, say it's the black woman's fault. Again, you can't say it's the black woman's fault when you had all the time and opportunity to make this film be what it is. Because we see with this whole Birth of a Nation and a Medea Halloween, again, what image this Afro-American Negro wants to be seen of themselves, because they are spending money on one type of image, and then they talk about the other image they want, but they don't go spend any money on it. And again, this is what they show you in their actions, because the Negroes' actions speak louder than their words. They're all talking about why Birth of a Nation was a failure, but again, they were the part of contributing to the failure because this is the track record when it comes down to positive black films in the Afro-American Negro community. Whenever you produce these type of films, the Afro-American Negro says they are needed, but then they never show up. And they act like Hollywood and the entertainment business, people are supposed to just produce films and lose money on them. This is one of the most dysfunctional ideas many of these Afro American Negroes have regarding the film business. They think it's supposed to be like the welfare office and we're just supposed to just make films, and they don't understand the business of film. They don't understand how much work goes into trying to get phone calls with people to finance these type of films. They don't understand how much work goes into trying to talk to these executives and trying to even get them on the phone so they can get a screening set up. And they don't understand what it takes to get a type of film distributed. For them, it's just an end product, and they take that end product for granted. And this is something, again, I have seen as a publisher. Again, they don't understand what it takes to try to get, a book published, and they don't understand how much work it takes to, again, raise the money to pay for a book cover like this. And in many cases, when I do pay for those covers, in many cases I don't even get a return on my investment, but I do it because, again, I love black people and I want to put positive images of black people out there, just like many black filmmakers want to go out here and put positive images of black people out here. But because black people do not understand the business of film and do not understand that, again, companies have to make a return on their investment in order to get back what they put into it and then have the money to make more products, they sit there and think people are just supposed to just, again, keep making stuff for you just for the sake of making stuff for you. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. Entertainment is not a welfare office. We just don't give out books and films like food stamps. This is a business. People are trying to make a profit, and what you're seeing being made is going to be made based on profit. And if people see movies like No Good Deed and Tyler Perry movies going out here and making $50 and $60 million, then guess what? You're going to get more Medea movies, more No Good Deeds featuring black brutes, and more movies featuring stereotypes like Straight Out of Compton, because they're looking at the bottom line, and the bottom line is that the Afro-American Negro, when we look at his actions and we look at what he spends money on, does not want positive images of African Americans. What they want are stereotypes, and what they want to do is breathe new life in the stereotypes, and then come back and say that they are victims of white supremacy, racism, and negative images that they went out and spent all their money to go see week after week after week, showing us how dysfunctional and codependent this Afro-American Negro truly is, because the person who has the power to change their image, again, would go out here and vote with their dollars and support those positive images of African Americans that they say they want so badly, instead of going out here and supporting all of these racist stereotypes and breathing new life into them and presenting them as the standard for the next generation.